and Tobias from LoveLost. Quite simply, first things first, introduce yourselves and the members that aren't here.
So I'm Tobias. I'm the vocalist.
Yeah, I'm Ed. I play the drums. We've got Anthony, who's on bass, and we've got Sam on guitar as well.
Lovely jubbly. And you're based in where? Oh, it's Southwest, is it? You're based?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between Exeter, sort of anywhere in that.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. So start with the obvious, band origins. How did you all meet? How did LoveLost sort of become a thing? There's a little look on Ed's face that suggests there's a bit of a story there.
Well, yeah. So LoveLost started with me and Sam, guitarist, and basically it just kind of, so Sam was in a band called In Fear beforehand, and it was going to kind of just be like a sort of side project thing for him for a little bit, because In Fear were his main sort of band. And so for a little while we were just kind of playing with the idea of just putting some stuff out for fun, just having like a little project sort of thing going, really. And then as time kind of went on, we kind of realized that the songs were quite cool. You know, they were quite interesting. We were really enjoying where it was going. And it just so happened that during that process that In Fear unfortunately decided to split up, and me and Sam were like, well, be stupid not to like push this. And, you know, so we then looked to get other members involved, which is then how we met Ed through some mutual friends. And then Ant is also, again, through mutual friends. I've known him for a little while, just through kind of us having similar friends in like the music scene and locally and stuff. And yeah, it just kind of all kind of came together really nicely. Me and Sam didn't want to like just push to get anyone in, because we would rather have spent the time to make sure we got like the best people we can, people we work with nicely, and that, you know, didn't compromise kind of how we were working and the music and stuff. And we were really lucky to find Ed and Ant, and us all come together really, really well as a group.
Yeah, it was all just a load of good timing, I think, really. Obviously Sam's other project unfortunately folding was a shame for them, but moving on to different things, and I was in a different band at the time that was sort of coming to an end as well, so it just fell into place, and we've been working together since, really, about a year ago now, I think.
No, I say that sounds really nice and organic. Like I say, it's nice that you haven't forced anyone, walked up to someone with a gun and go, get in the band, be in the band. So
we didn't want to like compromise ourselves either, rush in to get anyone that you can find on joinmyband.com, and then inevitably ending up in an awkward situation where you've got people in the band that you don't necessarily gel with, or aren't working to the sort of degree that the rest of you are. And we're in a really, really great position where everyone like pulls their weight and everyone has their own sort of thing they do. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So then the name LoveLost, what's the origin of LoveLost? What does it mean, or what does it represent?
It's a difficult one, because band names are a pain in the ass to try and come up with. Like sitting there and just firing ideas out left, right, and center until something kind of like sticks. We were trying to find something that represents the kind of sad ambient sort of thing that we're going for in a lot of the songs, and something that just kind of, we were literally just playing with word combinations for ages, and I was really wanting the kind of, as sad and emo as it sounds, I like the idea of having like lost in the name, and it was just kind of like just throwing shit at the wall until it sticks. And LoveLost kind of came up in the middle of all of these kind of things that we were just throwing about, and I was like, hang about a minute, that's cool. I like that. And I like the imagery that comes with it and everything as well. It was a really random one. It was just out of kind of just debating a billion different names all at once. And thankfully it meant that we didn't end up on like band name generators, because that it inevitably gets to that point sometimes when no one can agree on a name and you just go, oh god.
Just stick it to a dartboard and throw it and just hope that it So
exactly.
That's cool. So what kind of other names were floating around that were sort of almost were the winner, if you will?
I can't even think, really, to be honest. For ages we were just naming like the group chats memes, like really stupid like meme things, just because we couldn't find a name, and we didn't want to just label it and then kind of start working towards that name rather than working with how we wanted to write the music.
Yeah, of course.
Like, if you end up giving yourselves like a more metalcore band sounding name or a more pop punk sounding name, then you're inevitably going to try and stick to your branding a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we just kind of kept it as open as we could until we found something that worked for what we were naturally kind of coming up with, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I think Semi said when I joined, I think you guys said, we're pretty certain we're going to call the project LoveLost.
Yeah.
Are you cool with that? And I said, yeah. You know, I like the name. And it was as simple as, I know another member's approval was sort of like, right, it's done. We're sticking with that. So yeah, I didn't have much involvement in that stuff.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so just Ed slowly folding up a piece of paper to say the Ed Williams band, putting him in his pocket, going, no, not today, lads. So no, that's brilliant. So obviously you were saying about the whole sort of the sad ambient. When it comes to writing your music, what bands influence your sound? Is it do you sort of all have a collective, or do you use individual sounds, or?
I think we do all have sort of different areas of music that we listen to that don't cross over, but I think as a whole, a lot of our musical tastes and bands we take inspiration from do tend to sort of cross over a lot. I think one band that's huge for all of us is Fightstar.
Yeah,
for certain.
Right, real, yeah.
We're all huge Fightstar fans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a, we had this conversation on the way over here about trying to choose sort of songs or three bands, and it is a difficult one. I think to sort of mid to early 2000s.
Yeah, a lot of
metal, really.
A lot of like post-hardcore sort of stuff, bands like Under Oath and stuff like that, but then ranging from stuff like Deftones as well, big influence.
Oh, cool.
There's lots of like post-hardcore sort of things, bands like Holding Absence as well, that big sort of dreamy sort of thing that they had going on in their really early stuff. But it's everything from like post-rock through to hip hop to drum and bass stuff to, we just kind of like take bits from kind of everywhere. But a lot of the time the songs do start out with just like me making a weird ambient thing and then kind of evolving off of there, or some sort of weird sample or texture and stuff like that.
Right.
And then we just kind of see where it goes, and then like we all kind of go, oh, it'd be cool if we went maybe a little bit more in this direction with that, or
let's try this section heavier, or let's try pull the drums out there and just sort of evolve it as a group from there.
Yeah, cool. So again, sounds really nice and organic. So like you said, so I know Tobias, sorry, you already said, so I know you said you come in with a riff. Does everybody come in with a different riff and you all sort of work on it, or is there sort of a main songwriter out of the group, or again, is it a collective of?
So generally, for a lot of the stuff that we've done so far, it's been predominantly me writing the music and then kind of bringing it to the band. And one of my favorite things about us is the fact that everyone is so honest and has like a real interest in the betterment of the song. No one will take something and just go, yeah, that's good enough. Obviously sometimes things are good enough and it just works out that way, but generally what happens is like I might write something and give it to the band and go, look, what do you guys think of this? Where would you want to take it? Or I've made this instrumental, but I'm really struggling with coming up with like a vocal melody or something for it, and I really just can't get it sorted. And then we'll just send up like voice notes to each other of like different melodies, or people playing keyboards on their computer just trying to like work out things. And so although it's kind of like a lot of the time with the stuff that we've done so far, it's been a lot of me doing the kind of the music writing, it does end up as a group effort, because without their insights, I just get caught up in my own head about stuff as well and just end up doubting things and things like that. So it is very much a group thing still.
I think a brilliant age where we've all got sort of however big or small facilities of recording ourselves and coming up with ideas and getting them down into a file that we can send across. So we can send a song to someone and they come back and put some drums on it, or send it off and change the guitar line and say, oh, have you tried this? And we can just sort of pitch songs together before it becomes the sort of final product. I think it's great that we're in a time with technology that we can all sort of do that remotely, and then ideas without having to drive an hour that way and then come back this way. And I think that's a really useful tool that we've got in this day and age.
No, exactly, because I'm in a band myself, Buried by My Heartache, and we're very similar in how we write. So someone will write a riff, and then if if it's our lead guitarist, he puts it on his YouTube channel and then he shares it with us and he goes, "What do you think?" Or I record it and whatever. So like you say, I think you're very lucky, like you said, Ed. We're in a very lucky situation where technology is available that we can, like you say, send snippets to one another and go, right, this has been going around in my head. What do you think? Do you think this would work? Oh, cool. Let's take that to the band room next week and see how we can grow. So again, it sounds really nice and organic what you guys have got. It's really good, really cool. So the last question, just sort of about Love Lost before we move on to what we're talking about. If this makes sense when I say it, what's kind of the mission slash purpose with your music? What are you hoping to sort of do with your music, if that makes sense?
Oh, that's a good question.
Biggest thing for me has always been connection.
Right.
Music, something that I grew up with having basically as like as again as sad as it sounds, as like being the most comforting thing in my life. Like, you know, whenever there's a bad moment in your life, you can turn to music. Whenever you're feeling happy, you can turn to music and it just makes it better. It's that feeling of being so connected with a song that you can't imagine anything else around it at that time, you know. And
Yeah.
I our songs are very, very honest. They're from very, very real places and real events and real things that have happened. And the biggest thing that I hope for is that just someone connects to what I'm saying in a song, and it kind of shares that moment with them the same way, you know, I've always reached to my favorite songs, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I spent a lot of school years just sort of walking around school with my headphones on, listening to the latest album or whoever just come out at that point in time and sort of miming along or singing along to the lyrics while I was walking around. And I think at one point, I thought it would be really nice to be on the other side of that and know that, you know, the music we're creating, someone else is doing that to our songs and, you know, the lyrics we've written, and having that sort of connection to, you know, to that song in particular, and the lyrics of that song and the vibe of that song will help someone else in that way that they did for us when we were, you know, at that age. And yeah, connection is a very good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, so connecting with your fans the same way that you connected with your big bands, like you say, like your Deftones and Dry. So yeah, so again, that's pretty cool. So that obviously takes us on to your debut single, Brightburn. So again, without kind of repeating ourselves, so first things first, Brightburn, the name, where's that from, and what's the meaning of
Burn
the song?
Bright, yeah. So it's Burn Bright.
Oh, sorry, Burn Bright, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no. So Burn Bright is a song that is written about it's basically like the loss of people in your life too soon. So I grew up sadly over quite a period of years. I lost several friends to suicide. And the idea is just kind of about how it affects you personally, living with that happening, and the unfortunateness of that. So like the main lyrics, for instance, in the chorus is, why do you have to burn out instead of burn bright?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, yeah, looking into the idea of people kind of not being able to follow through with the rest of their life and get the opportunities that we could all see that they would have had, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, like a lot of these songs have really personal sort of like deep connections within things that have happened in life. And yeah, Burn Bright is just one that's kind of, it's something that a lot of people, especially sadly in this day and age, a lot of people go through. You know, a lot of people will lose someone to that at some point or another. And you know, it just felt right to kind of be able to talk about that in a song. You know, it happened very naturally when I wrote the instrumental for it. Just kind of, I completely just winged the chorus over the top. I didn't have any lyrics written. I was just kind of, I was in a sort of a place mentally where I was just thinking about it a lot, and the chorus just wrote itself. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, this is obviously an avenue that I need to kind of like follow and fill out. And yeah, so as dark as that is, it's just, again, it's another form of sharing that comfort in music that I would find. You know, I would listen to that song and I go, oh wow, like I completely get that.
It's not just me sort of feeling that
Yeah.
people need when they you know, going through times like that. They need that I'm not sure the word is
Reassurance.
Yeah, reassurance, and that knowing that there are, you know, a lot of people who experience that same thing, and you can find comfort in speaking to them about it and knowing that there is like a group of people going through that rather than just sort of being alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, again, yeah. So that's again very meaningful. Like you say, something that people can connect to because we have lost people through, unfortunately that through the suicide side of things, and it is a horrible thing to go through. You know what I mean? And it is how do you process that? So again, it's very, very touching meaning. For you, Ed, when you first heard the Tobias's Burn Bright, I'll get it right this time. Had to you as a musician, how did it kind of, if it makes sense, how did it resonate with you as a song? Like not the lyric side per se, but the music side. How did that, if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
I get you. It's interesting. It is somewhat of a sad song to an extent, but I've always found, strangely enough, I feel a sense of euphoria with sad music. I'm
Right.
not certain what causes that or whether most people have that. So it's while there is, a very much a sad element to the track itself, there was something about it that gives me that sort of, don't know, I don't know how to describe that sort of connection with music.
It's what I was going for when I wrote it, was like euphorically sad, basically. Like there's
Yeah.
almost triumph, this triumphantness to
Yeah.
this kind of big soaring, big. It's basically just like a big blanket of like just
emotion, and feeling and rawness. So like you said, it comes from a personal place, and the lyrics sort of reflect that. It's a, you sort of skip your way through the verses, and the chorus comes around, and you've just got this massive sort of powerful, emotion-filled bit of music. I suppose is the best way I can put it. I think feeling music is probably how I listen. Is how does it make me feel through? Sort of close your eyes and take it in. And I remember the first time I heard Burn Bright as a demo version, I just thought this is really, really good. I really enjoy this. I'd listen to this. Do you definitely want me as your drummer? Sort of typing back, are you sure? Like sort of thing.
No, that's really cool. So, and again, it's nice that through, by the sounds of the music, that's how you're all bonding. That you're all sat there thinking, "Oh, is this euphoric feeling?" Yes, again, like we said, it's a sad and it is a painful subject, but it's also that like you said, that reassurance that you're not alone and you are together in it. So is that why you decided to release Burn Bright as your debut? Because for that reason, or were there other reasons behind it? Or
so I think as a song, it really encapsulates a lot of what we're about sonically.
It's sort of like a good middle ground. It's not just a completely soft song. It's also got some heavy sections. It's got a bit of everything in the mix in that song, and a really good as well. So hoping people like the catchy chorus.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, because I do admit, obviously when I eventually found you on Instagram, it was trying to find you was a bit of a battle. Obviously one of the clips you've got is the chorus as part of your teaser, and I heard it and I was thinking, oh, that's got it's got that nice little melody, but it's got that growl underneath. I was thinking, oh, that's gonna be the hook. That's gonna be what I mean, obviously the whole song will, don't get me wrong. But that particular bit, I'm thinking, if somebody comes into the radio and they hear that, that'll be getting people going, oh, okay, so what was this song? Hopefully they announce the artist and the name at the end of it because I want to know what the song is. So I think you're definitely onto a winner. I think that is going to be a very good debut for you guys. It's going to be very, again, just from what you're telling me as well, what the song's about and, sonically, the meaning behind it. I think you have definitely got a winner with that one. I think you're going to do very well with that one personally. Kind of leads me on to the next one. So how did it all come about with, is it Year of the Rat you're releasing this through?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Was it just sheer coincidence, or did you happen to know them from previous bands, or?
Yeah, so Sam, our guitarist who was in Fear worked with Year of the Rat towards the end before they split up. They were working with Year of the Rat, so we knew of them through them. We've got some friends that are also working with Year of the Rat. We're really close with a band called Save Us. They're really good friends of ours.
He put in a good word for us. We were sort of reaching out to James. He sort of messaged James, said, "I know these guys. I know they work hard. I'm a fan of their music, and we think they might be a good team to take on board." So
yeah, and thankfully James listened to our music and was like, "Yeah, you know what? Like, this is a startup band, but I like what I'm hearing, so I'll take the chance. And we're really, really grateful for it, because obviously, being a band that hasn't released anything yet, we haven't put anything out in the world. For us to be putting out our first releases with Year of the Rat is awesome. You know,
Amazing.
yeah, really, really grateful for the opportunity that they're giving us.
Yeah, great to see you know, an outside party, especially, you know, a group as good as cool as Year of the Rat, that actually have faith in us as well as we do. It
Yeah,
sort of,
yeah.
gives us that reassurance that we're on to something here, hopefully.
Yeah, good. No, that's really cool. So again, because like I say, James, from what my guy was telling me, Alex was telling me, James is really sort of, you know, like you said, he's really eager for you guys. So again, that's good. It's nice to know that you have got that backing, because as we all know in this industry, you need that backing. It is a very difficult industry to get in, you know. It's like you say, for the fact it's your debut, so there's no like I said, there's no, well, there's nothing.
Existence.
Sorry, yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to go with. There's nothing of you out there at the moment, apart from the build up that you've had, the promo you've done, and what's coming out at the end of the week. So, you know, in the nicest sense, are you nervous about the reaction you're going to get, or are you excited, or is it a bit of everything, or
Definitely a big old collection of everything. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like me and Sam have been doing working on this project for, kind of like started talking about it nearly 2 years ago at this point, really. You know, and we started taking it seriously like about a year or so ago. We started kind of really looking at, you know, putting the music together to actually put out somewhere and release. And that's when we started talking to Ed and stuff to kind of get it moving. And yeah, the fact that I mean, it felt like it was forever away when we started planning for this to come out, and it's just come around so quick.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely like anxious to see what the world's thoughts are.
Also, I think it's going to be quite a lot of relief once the first song's out. It's like, okay, we're exists on right now. People can find us.
Yeah,
that very first hurdle is done. Now we just got to keep the momentum going. And
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So is Burn Bright is that going to be part of an EP, or is this just a single and then you got more, or is that kind of telling too much? Is that a bit hush hush at the moment?
I don't really know at the
I'm
moment
not sure
what
where
we're.
we stand.
Yeah.
So you just kind of see how it goes. Is that kind of the approach you're going with? Yeah, just see what happens.
Seeing what happens with that one.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken enough to James about what we're allowed to say on the other stuff yet. But
Right. Okay. Well, if it's hush hush, then we'll keep it there. That's good enough. It gives people more to look forward to, doesn't it? So, you know, 100%. So the last thing about Burn Bright, the music video, because obviously you've got a music video coming out. So first of all, who was that shot with? And again, visually, how does it match up to what the song's about? If that makes sense.
The video was shot by a guy called Kieran, who goes under GLK Media.
yes.
He did some of Sam's old band videos, and we've all always really liked his work.
Yeah.
He's a very, very, very skilled guy.
He's worked with some really cool bands, and he's done some really, really cool stuff. So
yeah, he's a very, very hardworking guy, and his stuff always comes out looking really, really good. So not got enough nice things to say about Kieran. The image of the
visually we were going for like, so it's got a lot of the kind of the grain, the kind of like slow exposure sort of stuff and things to kind of go with that big dreamy sort of vibe that we were going for with all the ambience and that sort of thing. Lots of candles, because it's called Burn Bright, you know.
No, but it's also a good, sorry to interrupt, but it's also a very good visual for what you were saying earlier about what the song's about. You know, a burning candle is a very good, you know, that's a very strong visual aid. So that's very cleverly done. I will give you that. 100%.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the kind of the video stuff was all kind of put together by Sam and Ant with Kieran. They've worked a lot on that sort of side of stuff. Really good.
The big visual guys when it comes to videos. We say, so what's the plan for this? And Sam and Ant are coming in with all these ideas.
Yeah.
Like, I love them all. I have not a great deal to add. I'm not great on visual stuff, but no, those two have always been on top of that and always have loads of ideas. You know, probably more so than we use. So we just go through and pick out the ones that we like, and yeah, they've always got a really strong idea for stuff like that.
We had
worked with Kieran on that one as well.
We had the color palette kind of set up for ages and ages, because I had the artwork made for the single before we were even kind of like working out making the video or anything like that. So we had like the kind of the orangey color palette happening, and I was like, well, that fits perfectly with the vibe of Burn Bright as well, you know. It's a nice one, like colored, that works sonically with the song as well, not just the kind of visual representation in the video and that. It's yeah, so it all kind of came together really, really naturally. It was like my first proper music video that I shot as well. Previously in bands, I've always played an instrument as well as doing vocals, or just played an instrument. So this time to not be hidden behind any instruments was wild for me. Everybody else like went in and just shot it and was like, yeah, cool, like smashing it. And there's me like standing there, like shaking like a bullshit and raising. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, Kieran was fantastic and just told me exactly what I needed to be doing. And he was really calm and patient with me as well. So
Yeah.
it was a really good experience. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. You know, so I do again. You know, really looking forward to when the product comes out and everybody can see it. I think you again, you know me, I wouldn't say it unless I meant it. I do think you're onto a winner. I do think you've got a very powerful song. I think it's going to be an absolute smash of a debut. So fingers crossed for you, lads. Really do mean that. So, right, that's pretty much it, to be honest, lads. So the final question, just to end on a bit of a lighter note, when you guys go on the road, on tour, gigs, whatever, it's a question we're always asked as bands. What's your go-to road snack? What's got to be an essential?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Snack.
A snack, drink, anything you want, or what's an essential place you've got to stop and get something to eat?
I'm gonna say cider. I have to say cider. Yeah, Thatchers of some description.
Yeah.
And snack, I'd definitely go for crisps. I'm much more of a savoury guy. Any sort of crisps.
Any particular preference on crisp, or?
Not really. I think I'd eat almost any crispy quick something. Yeah.
So
your green room and every gig you go to has got to have a bowl of crisps. It doesn't matter what it is, it's crisps. It's just crisps and cider.
I'll be
to be fair, yeah, that sums you up pretty well. Crisps and cider. I've been mad on the barbecue hula hoops at the minute, so.
To be fair, they are pretty. There's something about them.
I'd probably have to go for a barbecue hula hoop.
Yeah. Maybe a monster munch if I was putting it down to a preference.
Pickled onion monster munch, that'd be.
No, it's brilliant. Right, well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, lads. Thank you ever so much for taking the time. And like I said, I really hope that Burn Bright goes well. I do think it is going to be an absolute smash of a debut for you guys. I think you're really onto something, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Really an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.